Hey, yo.
Pull it up real quick.
It still says waiting for you to start on my screen. Hold up. Some up now. We're good. We're up. Solid.
We're up and going. Let's go. Maybe. I can't find it.
I'm gonna grab a water bottle real quick while you do your thing.
All right, man. All right. Yeah, we got 5 people in here. Apparently, people are excited for us to talk about aliens tonight. How's everybody doing tonight? Fred Barnes is here. Purple is here. I know. I seen that. Fred. I don't know if I commented on it, but I know I liked his post about 16th Bend making their appearance. So huge congratulations and shout out to 15th Bend on welcoming the new baby.
Hey, what's up, 15th Bend?
What up,
No, he's
Pookie?
not here.
No, that was Fred.
Yeah, I got you now.
So we need a little bit of a gimmick tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see by the little bubbles down in the lower hand corner, this is done with complete protest from Nampson. But
Yeah, y'all don't do that shit. Don't worry about this down here.
we're gonna help our man out. So let's come up with a gimmick. Whatever you guys decide, we'll do. Let's raise some funds from our man Nampson to help him out.
Don't worry about that, y'all. Just don't pay attention to him over there. I appreciate it. It's all in very goodwill, but y'all don't sweat it.
Nampson's still confused on how the Hatter family works and operates. What's up, Jay? The collective approves this message. What's up, No Point? How you doing?
Yo,
So what?
the collective, that was fucking great. I don't know if you were there for that. Were you in Alpha Tyler's stream?
I was there for a very short period of time.
Yeah, we were playing Among Us, and I started off fucking with this one guy, just because he was kind of being like a douche nozzle in the chat. I was like, we are all, because wait, hold on, if you know, what, if you tell us not to, it'll happen. No. Just let me tell my story.
Let's do it.
But so I start trolling with this guy because he's like, "Can y'all talk?" And he's literally one random. Like all the rest of us are in Discord voice chat. He's like, "Can y'all talk in the chat? Because you're not saying anything, and people just get voted out." And I'm like, "Oh, he doesn't know." And I'm just like, so like initially, I didn't even know what direction I was taking this, but I was like, I hear all the voices of what they say. I'll communicate through them. They will be in my mind, and they will be in yours. Therefore. He's like, what? And I'm like, I will tell you what they say through my mind. He's like, are you okay, bro? And I'm just like, you too can be part of the mind if you would like. And he's like, what the fuck are you saying, bro? You're weird. And I'm just like, I too once thought like you until I became part of the collective. And then like I just started fucking with, and then like he was like, nah, man, like they're just all doing whatever the fuck. And I'm like, hive mind, speak. And I had them all fucking type join us. So then it was just like 9 random fucking people, or well, not random people, but everyone from our Discord chat all like typed in join us. And he's like, yo, what kind of cult shit is this?
Nice.
It was a good time.
Yeah, I really wish I had more time to be more active in other people's streams. I really want to expand my horizons on YouTube, but I'm literally like going all in on the reaction channel side of it. And
yeah, I feel that you got to prioritize with what's important to you, in the moment, and it's like this is something that's going to further your channel, which will eventually enable you to have more time to do that. It's the
right.
same thing that like I'm doing. It's like while I don't want to be doing the thing I'm doing, it's like it's gonna further my other things.
Exactly. So we got 12 people in here. Apparently, people are excited to hear us talk about aliens tonight. And I do have to
Hell
say,
yeah.
I tried on the thumbnail. Namson said he liked
I
it.
thought it was good. That's my seal of approval, baby.
Hatter
Aliens.
must join the collective.
One of
Well,
us.
I mean, Take me with you.
That's what I'm talking about.
If Nampy's the leader, let's fucking go.
Yo, and it's so funny because then I was like talking with them all after the stream, like Jay and Tyler and all them. And I was like, dang, I should order a cult robe online and just fucking like the next time I'll just be wearing this cult leader outfit. Like
Join us or be sus.
we were straight up like executing people. Like we would follow like our target around like as a whole circle, and then they would stop and we'd all circle around them and they'd be like, what the fuck are they doing? Damn, I'm already kind of zooted. I gotta stop chiefing on the pen, yo. Those things are dangerous, y'all. This is why we take dabs. But I'm all out of wax. That's a lie. No, I'm not. Yo, what's good, Purple? What's popping?
Can you take a rock and hurry up, please?
That's confusing as shit. Apparently, Me6 just charged me twice. Once in PayPal, once in Cash App.
Fucking end them.
They damn sure ain't charging me twice.
Delete them from existence with the ban hammer of justice.
It was fun, and when a report happened, one would volunteer his tribute to be voted out or killed.
Yep.
Interesting.
It was a good time. What's up, Cherokee?
What's up, Cherokee? How you doing tonight, hon? So, I guess the main question to start this off with is Nampson. Do you believe in extraterrestrial beings?
No.
No.
I'm kidding. Of course I do. I'm a fucking.
I was gonna say I'm a
motherfucker.
I'm gonna smack the waves out of your hair. What are you talking about?
And Hatter, same question to you.
Of course. I mean, obviously, there's been technically by definition anything that's alien or
Right.
extraterrestrial is something that's not from Earth. And there's been countless reports of microorganisms, bacterias, stuff like this, you know, that are coming off of asteroids, that are coming off of comets. And it's like, okay, well, if there's this matter,
if there's a micro life,
exactly. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be as advanced as us, but if there's life that comes from other places than Earth, then there has to be extraterrestrial life.
Exactly.
Plain and simple. Whether it's a microorganism that, you know, it's one little cell and it's about as smart as me, then
I'm sure one cell would
alone.
not have that kind of intelligence.
Okay, I have the better question. Are aliens the same as interdimensional beings?
I am so glad you asked that, Jay.
Interesting.
So,
yeah, I'll let you go first, Nampson.
Personally, by very definition, like what Hatter is saying, something that is otherworldly. Let's find out the exact verbal definition of alien. Define alien. Let's see here. Belonging to foreign country or nation, a foreigner, especially one natural citizen.
You might want to go define extraterrestrial.
We'll get to that. Yeah, because I'm sure there's going to be some. So yeah, here we go. A hypothetical or fictional being from another world. Yeah, so then in that case, I would 100% define aliens. Well, maybe not as the same, but I mean, not all aliens are interdimensional beings, but all interdimensional beings can be aliens by definition, if that makes sense.
Well, technically to us, if they're an interdimensional being, they would be an alien.
That's exactly
plain and simple. I mean, just like I'm sure we would be the same as them, whether or not we're higher advanced than they are or we're lower advanced than they are. But if they're interdimensional, obviously we are behind because they can travel within dimensions.
Not necessarily. because if they could travel interdimensionally, wouldn't they be here more often? Wouldn't they be observing us more often? And maybe they are. That's another thing. There's some really interesting theories
True.
that tie in with what you're saying. Like, for instance, one of them is the theory that we are four-dimensional beings in a three-dimensional plane. And the way that that's described right now, right? If I draw a house on a piece of paper, right? And you can see that house, right?
Hmm.
That house, when built, is a three-dimensional object, correct?
Yes.
Until it's built, though,
It's a
it's a
two-dimensional
2D
object.
object on the exactly, but it exists in the 3D plane. So we could be 4D creatures or creations
But we're only in
existing
the third
in a
dimensional.
3D space. Exactly.
Gotcha.
So that's something that's really interesting to me because our consciousness is of a higher variety. You know, when you look into psychic, you know, telepathic instances, things like remote viewing, which you know, was literally there was a remote viewing team that was deployed by the CIA in the 1980s, I want to say, that had success, like insane success.
Chuck Viscani, you seen a what? And technically, by definition, I just looked it up on Wikipedia. Namson, you are an interdimensional being.
Why is that?
Because the definition of interdimensional being
One that can
suggests
interact
an
with multiple.
entity that can time travel or move out of the physical body into a spiritual one. And you've had your experiences to where your body left and went into an interdimensional plane with your DHT face that was trying to get you to go to the door. So wouldn't that, in fact, make you an interdimensional being?
DHT, you mean DMT?
DMT. That's
Okay,
right.
I was gonna. That's a whole nother drug, man. That's
There's too many DTs.
yeah, there are definitely. So by definition, yes and no simultaneously. Because me personally, I cannot go there by myself, like without aid. Now, it doesn't directly obviously specify that it has to be without aid, but when
If you
you
want to.
consider yourself interdimensional versus being an interdimensional being, I think that's when, you know, if you're interdimensional, you have the ability to travel between dimensions. If you are an interdimensional being, you have the innate ability. It doesn't mean you have to use something
True.
else. For me, and I guess when I would reach like further enlightenment, like through meditation, like actual, like true ability to zen into this shit, I think then I could be considered an interdimensional being. But until then,
You're
just
an
interdimensional.
You're interdimensional being in training until you
Yeah.
can further open up. Oh my God, Juno, shut up! Yeah, where I was going. Okay, so Chuck says, I seen something land in the woods back in the 70s and landed in the woods. Next thing I know, it was gone.
Chuck, I'd love to hear more about that.
Yes, we would love to hear your story.
Because that was actually what I was going to ask the chat too, is if any of y'all have had any experiences or any abduction experiences, anything at all. Like even if it was a dream, like if it was a dream and you vividly remember it, I want to know that shit. Tell me right now in the chat.
I think Jay might have had one of the probing experiments done on him, but I'm not sure.
Like actually, or are you just like fucking with
No, I'm just making a very poor pun at the moment. Sorry, Jay. You were the butt of my joke. No pun intended. Pun intended.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Chris, I kind of agree with that. Your consciousness is a higher form of entity. And if you break that down, each religion even kind of goes off of that concept. Like Jesus Christ, for instance, in Christianity, refers to the kingdom of God not being as a physical place, but a thing within inside you, right? Which is really interesting to me because then in Christianity they go to say like if you die and you know your soul goes to heaven, it's this place that it goes to, like, but like if it's within inside of you, that relates to the same idea that our higher consciousness is of higher dimensions, of higher places, where this thing is existing, but we are presently trapped in this 3D space,
Jay wants to know, how many dimensions do you know of? Well, we know of up to 4.
I think
The
no,
fourth
I'm pretty
dimension?
sure they know of 12. Hold on. There's theoretically infinite, and I'm pretty sure
That's what I was
or
thinking.
11.
The world as we know it has 3 dimensions of space, length, width, and depth, and 1 dimension of time. That's where I was getting the 4.
Mhm.
The 26 dimensions.
Yeah, so there's allegedly 11. There has to be at least 11 dimensions for string theory to work, it says, and that's our most present theory of existence is through string theory. And I personally have seen 4 dimensions for sure.
Melrose says, "Hey guys, digging the conversation. Have
Hell
so
yeah,
much
Mel.
I want to talk about. 11 dimensions.
What's poppin'?
Appreciate you, Mel. There was no Jay Serious. He went all caps. No probing, but I have experience in meditation and spirit walking." And you made another comment about is
Thanks,
spirit
Kyle.
walking and hang on, let me see if I can find it. Where did it go? Oh, is spirit walking the same as dimensional walking? I would say yes, because if you're spirit walking, you've left your body, which in turn falls under the definition of interdimensional beings. So spirit walking technically would be interdimensional.
I think that's a very fine line though, because like I said, so like right now, if you were to go into the 2D plane, your physical form would change, right? The physical space that you see and perceive would be different. Now, that is to say as well, if you were to project your spiritual form out of your body, you're still in the 3rd dimension per se. You're still viewing and looking into the 3rd dimension. Now, if you have the ability to project your consciousness into the 4th dimension, which some people do through intense meditation, then I feel like that could be seen as interdimensional travel. But I don't think just outright astral projecting is necessarily interdimensional travel, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I'm not sure. What would you consider? I mean, obviously, you are a prime person to ask this because you've had the experiences, the paranormal experiences. Obviously, they're permanently have left their bodies. So would that be an interdimensional being? They're just stuck in the 3rd dimension currently until they can move on to the other dimensions.
See, and that I think is kind of where I've stopped believing in ghosts and started believing in the potential of exactly what you're saying. The fact that consciousness exists within everything to some degree, not everything, like a rock itself is not conscious. Whereas, well, some people believe that they are. Like when you get to like those some rocks grow, other rocks, people use like for energy or whatever the fuck. It's like, so to some degree, some rocks have some form of consciousness to some people. Me personally, I'm not a huge believer that rocks contain consciousness, but there's 3 main degrees of consciousness. There's 1, which is like plants. There's 2, which is most animals. And then there's 3, which is humans. We are on our perceivable top level of consciousness. And so that being said, when your consciousness leaves your body, it's definitely possible that it remains in this dimension if it's not yet ready to go into the next dimension. Now, I definitely think too, that's how consciousness can get transferred into different hosts. Because I've kind of leaned more towards reincarnation, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I definitely think though that what we perceive to be spirits or ghosts around us may literally be temporarily trapped consciousness, or it could even be entities from the 4th dimension manipulating things in the 3rd dimension, like how we can draw things in the second dimension. We can interact with the second dimension. Maybe they can interact with our dimension. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you brought that up because I was actually just looking up a picture, and I'm going to use the same picture that is on the. Well, I'm going to use a similar picture, not the same one. But let me share my screen really quick. So, if this being here, it's technically an alien. What if the only reason it looks like this is because it's coming from something that's fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, or 11th dimension, and it has to fit a form because we are stuck in the third dimension? Like, what would it actually look like?
And that's an excellent point. You know, if something from a higher dimension had to be projectable into a third dimensional form, something we could visually interpret and understand, it is very difficult to explain what they could look like. And that ties into, I wrote out a couple different potential options for aliens, like what we would be able to perceive as aliens. The first one being from outer space looking gray men. That one, literally what you have on the screen. The second theory of potential aliens would be us from the future. And essentially, there's a theory on that. It's not my own. I didn't create any of these. Like, these are just in bits of information that I've picked up on what aliens may be. You know, when you look at the way humans are evolving, we are getting larger and like fatter, and now we're kind of shrinking and getting a larger head, which means we may be on the verge of some form of evolution. Now, this could obviously happen within, you know, 100 years. This could happen within 10,000 years, 100,000 years. We don't know when that evolution will be, but our physical structure is changing in some sort of way. So when we get us from the future traveling back to the past, these versions of ourselves may look different, like smaller with larger heads or something, like what we perceive aliens to be. Now, the other potential that I have for an alien is dimensional beings that are around us at all times. And it's like what you're saying, the only way we could perceive them is if they were to enter in a viewable form to us. You know, the fourth dimension symbolism cannot exist in the third dimension. That's why you have to take psychedelics to see it, or you can only see it through intense meditation where you're able to go inside. Like, it's not just something you can magically project in front of you, because we are in the third dimension. You can't bring the third dimension into the second dimension and vice versa, you know?
Right.
So that being said, like, these dimensional beings could be aliens all around us. And Mel, abso-fucking-lutely, like, abso-fucking-lutely, please, like, let's make that happen ASAP, because I'm fucking down. I really am curious. I had an experience where I kind of realized that whatever this higher consciousness is within me, it's definitely got a different name, and like I'm obsessed with trying to figure out what that name is. And I don't know if that's a possibility through that shit, but I wanna know. Like, I know it's got a name, and I need to know its name. Like, it's, I don't know, it's been this weird fucking thing, and I almost think it implanted that idea inside of me, like, find out my name, like, which is fucking weird, man. Like, but I want to.
What's up,
But then
Sped?
the last potential person or type thing that I have for modern day aliens are people blending in. It's definitely possible that, you know, what the fuck oh no, it's just the camera. It's definitely possible that aliens, you know, we don't know their technology, we don't know what mentally they're capable of. You know, if a chameleon as a lizard can change its skin to match whatever tone it's behind, why couldn't there be a more sophisticated form of being that can morph into like some fucking Mystique from X-Men type shit, morph into whatever they wanted to be seen as, you know? And they may be master fucking, you know, masters of this blending, and they're studying us at all times. Who knows, you know?
Or, you know, going back to the interdimensional beings, you said, you know, if there were, then why aren't they here? Well, maybe they are. Maybe they're in their higher dimension form and no one can see it. No one can acknowledge it because obviously we are a 3D creature. that yes, there's some of us that can tap into the fourth dimension. You can always you can go backwards in dimensions, but you can't really go forward.
You can't go backwards. I can't become a 2D creature.
No, but
if
you can bring the 2D in. Like I could draw on a sheet of paper, like you said. I could draw a house. So you can bring the 2D into the 3D, but you can't.
But you can transmit your consciousness into another dimension. And that's,
Right.
Through access of psychedelics or meditation. And it's like, who knows if once we are in this dimension, all these things that are around us, because it's crazy. When you see what that shit's like, it is crazy. Like, look up hyperspace real quick. You'll see what this shit looks like. And so that being said, there may be clues hidden around the fourth dimension that indicate how to travel into the fifth dimension, and so on and so forth. And to them, we are ants and they are gods. To us, an ant is an ant and we are their god, like it's kind of crazy to think about. So what is above them, and so on and so forth. And what's even more crazy, when something recent I found out, is for our universe to exist, as we are in an observable universe, for the universe to have been created, it would have had to have been an observable event, meaning that something was there to observe the creation of the universe.
Right.
Which couldn't have been human life, so it therefore must have been either a higher entity or an alien. No, you're good, Mel. I'm 100% down.
I've always been a skeptic of like tarot and all that, but I'm definitely open to have someone try to persuade me or like convince me into it. Just like with psychics and all that shit, I've always kind of been skeptical about psychics and all that shit. I mean, yeah, a lot of them are using them as gimmicks. A lot of them are using them as scams. But
there's definitely people out there that got some kind of weird shit going on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I messaged you, Andrea. Tell that crazy Namson person I joined his Patreon. I can't get to the Cash App link on my phone.
Hey, thank you.
Fred.
Who was that? Fred, you absolute mad lad. I'm going to give you a kiss. That's for you, nobody else. If any of y'all try to take that shit, I'm coming for you.
Cherokee says, I and many others saw something one night. News claims it was a blimp. It wasn't the same shape. The lights were not located where they should have been. If it were, blimps usually have a basket. This didn't.
That's, yeah. They call aliens like the government's biggest like cover up. Yeah.
Okay. Coming from a species that wasn't bound by religion and okay with playing God, in year 2000, we cloned a sheep. Then it was taken away from the public eyes. You are very accurate, Ultimate Omega. And I have your reaction dropping tonight after this stream, Ultimate Omega.
So, Chris, that's really interesting what you say. He says, I don't think we as humans have past lives. I think when we peek into something we feel is from a past life, it's just the entity in us that has seen something through its body jumping. And that's definitely possible in the sense that, like, because I believe we're like avatars ready to be plugged in at any moment. The mind exists without the soul, but the soul needs the mind in order to witness, if that makes sense, in order to exist. So for that to happen, we are essentially like a power supply, like a battery, if you will, that gets plugged into a human. And each bit of this experience we have is recorded onto the soul. And then you go into another one. So whether you want to call it a past life or not, in a way it kind of is, but it's not Nick's past life. Nick will never live a past life. Nick will never live a future life either. Nick will die when Nick dies, but whatever is inside me, powering me like a battery, that will continue on past my consciousness, I believe.
Austin, I love your comment. Oops, late due to traffic on the Milky Way.
Yeah, damn.
All right, let's show that back up. Okay. Palm reading is a roadmap, but can be manipulated. Well, yeah, anything can be manipulated. I mean,
Yeah.
If things couldn't be manipulated, then there wouldn't be such thing as like carnival games and shit like that. Everything's manipulated to a point.
And Jay, the beauty part about that is you can't manipulate someone that does not want to be manipulated. It's the same with hypnotizing someone. You cannot hypnotize someone that does not want to be hypnotized. A person that does not want to be manipulated will not be manipulated, and that's very similar to what we were talking about with those psychics that are like, I'm getting a judge Jim John Jerry Jerry, that's my dad's. You know what I mean? Like someone who wants to be manipulated is looking for connections.
Yes.
Somebody who does not want to be manipulated has to be convinced by facts. You know what I mean?
And that's another thing I've been really interested in is like the whole hypnosis. Like, I would be willing to let someone attempt to hypnotize me and try to unlock like the inner brain that, you know, everything is hidden in, because it's fact that humans only use a very small percentage of their brain. It's like 11 or 12% of their brain.
Well, that's not fact.
Or 10%.
What you're thinking of is there's a myth that we only use 10% of our brain. We use more than that just to open and close your hand. Our brain is entirely active. However, 80 to 90% of your brain is made up of your subconscious mind, meaning you are not consciously aware of the things that are going on inside this 80 to 90%.
Okay.
And
so
if you could
can
greater
tap into
unlock
that
your
extra.
consciousness, become fully conscious of everything, you would be able to have psychic power, essentially. That, like, I hate to be the guy to say that, to be like, ooh, psychics, but it's like, if you look into remote viewing, like what we were talking about with the CIA earlier, the CIA employed a team of remote viewers that had incredible success. One that described a submarine, the exact style. It had never been built like that before, and they laughed about him describing it this way. Like a month later, the Russians unveiled a submarine of that design. Another one where a spy plane had gone down during the Cold War, and the U.S. really needed to find it. And then the Russians were like, "Fuck, we need to find that too." And they had showed the remote viewer, the psychic, if you will, an entire map of Africa, like the continent, like, and they said it's somewhere here. She gave them a 3-mile radius, and they found it. Like, there's nothing to those things. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there is greater human potential within those of us who can unlock that, or maybe those of us who have the ability to communicate with these interdimensional beings or these hypothetical aliens, whatever variety of the sort they may be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard for me to believe. Like, it's got to be some kind of giant cover up, because there's so much information out there. Like, you look at something as simple as, you know, Star Trek. Perfect example, because while they're traveling, they needed to go into warp speed. And warp speed is faster than the speed of light, which would be required for interdimensional travel. Like, and Star Trek came out in when? Hang on. And
Mel, I would believe your legitimacy. I definitely would. I feel like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The way you were talking about things the other day, and like what I personally have witnessed, I could tell you've seen some shit. You've definitely seen your share of shit.
Yeah, that came out in the 60s, September 8th, 1966. And like, there's not, I just don't understand how, like, these people have all this knowledge. Like, me watching it as a kid, I was like, oh yeah, they're in a spaceship. This is cool. But now looking back on it, they literally had all the information that they would need to make any of this possible. Like, this information had to come from somewhere.
Exactly.
People just don't. oh, well, there's a 76th dimension and it's made of this, and this. Like people, I mean, yeah, people do come up with random shit like that, but
We wouldn't even be able to fathom what, like, you couldn't even hypothetically consider what would be in the 76th dimension.
right,
Even the fourth dimension is so unfathomable for our brains to actually imagine, because there are theoretically infinite dimensions. Like,
right.
if 11 can exist, theoretically infinite can exist.
Hmm.
Now we have no direct way of proving that right now, but maybe we will in our lifetime. Who knows? And the way quantum computing is going, which actually ties into aliens too here, um, quantum computing will be able to kind of break these things down for us. Because like what's really interesting is our third dimension that we are in operates on a set of rules, if you will, like rules of thermodynamics, like laws of physics and everything, like the laws of motion, gravity, et cetera, et cetera. All of these rules exist within our three-dimensional world, but that doesn't mean that they are subject to them in higher dimensions, which is so interesting because that would mean anything that would enter into our realm of space from another dimension could theoretically collapse our entire dimension,
Oh yeah.
um, if it were to break the our rules of physics. But for some reason, it hasn't. And I don't know. It's so interesting to me. Has the fourth dimension like made no connection to the third dimension in the sense that they do not interact with us, or is it literally just like I don't know? It's fucking fucking weird.
Uh, what do you call someone when something tells you to visit someone only to have that one person you visit later pass away that evening? Um, I would say that's more along the lines of a premonition. That's not. That's still an upper um, mindset. You're activating, parts of the brain that a lot of people don't use because premonition is kind of like, I mean, you get a gut feeling that something's going to go wrong, and then you get a phone call that's, bad news. You get that bad news that you had that gut feeling about. That it kind of goes along the lines of premonition in my book. Um, but I don't know how else I would describe that. Do you have anything to add to that, Namson?
Yeah, actually. So this was in a similar video that I'd watched about the CIA fucking what was it? Employing like a team of psychics to do the remote viewing and shit. Um, like I said, I believe that we are all fourth dimensional creatures in a third dimensional plane. Um, Similar how an ant is a three-dimensional creature in a two-dimensional plane. Um, but that being said, uh, fuck my train of thought. Yeah, no, I do believe that having this higher connection, it's a connection that goes in literally with everything. Like it's a spiritual web of connection. That's why DMT is in everything. It's the way we are all connected by that one molecule. And that being said, I do believe we're all tapped into this web, and I do think certain signals can be sent, and depending on how intense your innate connection is to this, it can receive or send out, like you're saying, vice versa, these signals. And what's really interesting about that, I have a couple different stories of this, and this only started happening when I started like really taking more trips as well as like doing more meditation. So sometimes I'll join streams and I won't say anything right away just because like I'm doing other shit. I just want something in the background. And then like within like 2 to 5 minutes, almost always within me, within the time frame of me joining the stream, somebody will bring me up, which is weird. Like, is it like literally to the fact that my connection like taps so much into this because of the energy that I've started to like bring within myself, or like is it just a fucking coincidence? Then I can't chalk this shit up to coincidence because I've had some really weird telepathic kind of moments. So my song Insomnia Dreams has this one line in it, and it's I've been trying to hide, but I always get found. I'm out of places to hide. Only place left is the ground. And like the whole meaning behind that quote is like, you know, I try to get away from all these bad things in my life, but like they always find me. Like no matter where I am, like they find me. The only place left to hide from them is to die, you know? And I've never really seen anyone catch that or break that shit down. And one night I was watching Sweeney, and like he always plays my songs. Like Sweeney just anytime he sees me, he's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna play a fuckload of Namson songs now." Like shout out to Sweeney. But he gets to that part, and I was sitting with my fiance. I was like, "Man, I really hope Sweeney's the one to catch that because no one's really caught that and explained that yet." And he goes right past it, and I'm like, "Fuck." Like I really thought he was going to be the one. And then he was like, "Wait, hold on a minute." And he rewinds back, plays that exact part, and then explained it. I was like, and he had like a 30-second delay on the stream, meaning he did that before I even said that to my fiance.
Right.
Like there's no, and then the two telepathic experiences I've had super fucking recently. So the one was when I was on that trip that I told you about in Vegas. My fiance and I were watching something on her phone, and it was a podcast, and she had it turned up fairly loud, and we were watching for about 20-30 minutes at this point. And then I just kind of like think to myself, we should probably turn that down. That's pretty loud. And without skipping a beat, she reaches for the volume and turns it down. And I'm like, and then that same day, I was thinking like, oh man, I kind of got to use the bathroom. And again, definitely thinking this, not saying this out loud. And then I'm not looking at my fiance, but I hear her say, well, I got to use the bathroom. And then so I turn to her and say like, well, go ahead and use the bathroom first then. She goes, how did you know I had to use the bathroom? I said, you just said it. She's like, I didn't say anything. But yet some way, some shape or form, I heard her say that. And then the final one, I was visiting with my family and everything. And we were in this room downstairs, and I was by my mom, and I was talking with my mom for a minute, and she had we were in the room for about 5-10 minutes. And then I realized, I was like, dang, it's really dark in here. Like, and the second I thought the thought, she walked over and flipped on the light switch. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I just have no explanation for this shit. Like, I really do think like, as you become more consciously aware, your field of vibrational energy, like
Right.
affects others.
Fred brings up a really valid point. You said you don't believe in past lives, but do you think we can be influenced by other selves in alternate time lines, which pretty much must exist, right?
Yeah, 100%. I do believe in past lives. I just don't think Nick will have a past life. I think whatever consciousness is within me will have a past life. But I don't think Nick personally will ever have a past life.
Right. Obviously, this body is only going to be this body for the amount of time that this brain, rents out the space basically, and then it's like, okay, time to move on. Your energy has to go somewhere, and it's amazing how all of our conversations like kind of fucking come in, weave together, because we've talked about this in the paranormal. It's like,
yeah,
when we pass away, our energy has to go somewhere. And then basically the same thing here. If you're talking about like a past life or whatever, it's not necessarily that this exact body existed in the past, but this mental being, there's a very good possibility that this mental being came from somewhere in the past. We do not meet people by chance. Everyone is in our life for a reason. It's either to teach you something about yourself or about others.
That's
Very
facts.
true, Jay. The extensive web of actions, interactions, consequences, and outcomes is nearly invisible to nearly everyone. Absolutely. I mean, we're all blinded. Like, we don't want to sit there and, like Namson said in that video that he took down. It's like, he debated on doing that video because he was afraid people were going to be like, you're fucking weird, dude. You're crazy. We don't want to open our eyes to the possibility of something that we are not used to. We don't want to open our eyes to the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, because it's not something that we're accustomed to. We're accustomed to 2D and 3D.
Yeah.
Like even the like one dimensional. Like, come on. Like the fact of anything being one dimensional is just absolutely mind blowing to me, because you see everything's got a shape, everything takes up space. One dimensional would take up no space, just everything right on top of each other.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Fred, yeah, I think that's the consciousness that actually experiences past lives. But fuck, what the fuck was I gonna say? Son of a bitch. Give me just 1 second, I'll remember it.
I'll let you know when she's on her way.
See, Cherokee, that may be a moment to where, like, we're so accustomed in our day-to-day life that shit happens without us even realizing it. We just kind of go through the motions. Like, that song probably played 10, 15 times, and you're just caught up in a conversation, or you're busy cleaning, or you're doing something, and you don't realize it's just kind of in the background as white noise type of thing. But after your friend had passed, it gave you a reason to look for that song. So as soon as that song came on, it flipped that trigger. Namson's still thinking.
Yeah, fuck.
Use the Triforce. I mean, to me, the human brain is the perfect example of something that's three-dimensional, but it operates on several higher dimensions.
I forgot. Oh well.
Because, like Namson said, we use all of our brain, but actively we use that small percentage of our brain.
We're aware of that small percentage.
Yes. You sit there and you run your hand across the hot stove. Before you even realize it's hot, you're already pulling away. Like, our brain has that kind of, like, I don't know if it's how I would describe it, because it's not really telepathic, but it's almost like Namson was saying, oh, it's getting dark in here. And then someone goes and turns on the light. Your brain says, you're going to get hurt, stupid. And then you, like, yank your hand away. Or, like, if you trip, what is your natural instinct? I had people sit there and tell me, well, if you fall, don't put out your hands because you're going to hurt your arms.
It's physical reaction. Your body is not
try
trained
falling
not to.
without putting your hands out. Like, yeah, there's people that can do it for stunt doubles and shit like that, but they go through extensive training to fall without doing any of that. If you trip on the sidewalk, your first reaction is put your hands out.
And that's the thing. Like, your brain can be untrained from its instincts, but you have to first become made aware of the instinct itself. It's another form of consciousness. It's making yourself consciously aware of the actions you're doing.
Hey, I hope you get to feeling better, Boston.
Take it easy, homie. Feel better.
According to superstring theory, 11 dimensions of existence.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but minimum. Like Namson said, if 11 can exist, then why can't more?
Yeah. It's just literally unfathomable to us.
Right.
Like, and again, the fourth dimension is unfathomable. Like, imagine shapes going inside and outside of themselves frequently. Like, imagine if every single shape was constantly, like, closing in and collapsing on itself. Like, you couldn't fathom seeing that. Like, you couldn't possibly understand what that would look like.
Right.
And yeah, so to think past 11, like, your brain would probably melt trying to think about that. Like,
I don't know. It's kind of trippy because the one background we had was kind of bland, so I switched it to this one. And what you just said, it made me look up at the background. And it's like you have these geometric shapes, and they're just kind of folding in on each other.
This
Like,
is no,
oh,
this is
that's pretty.
exactly like a tesseract type shape. This is what would be happening in the fourth dimension, except on everything. Everything that exists would be this. Like,
God damn, Fred. What the hell?
this
That's
man
not
is
nice.
savage, ruthless.
In multiverse header, of course. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like we started the stream off. I mean, there's obviously extraterrestrial life, whether it be in the shape of the gray men that we talked about earlier, or you know, a design that we can't fathom, an image that we can't fathom. Because if something comes from the 11th dimension to the third dimension, it's got to transform into a shape
Now,
that we can see.
something else that's really cool about that is when you look at it from the alien perspective too. Like, we'll cut dimensions out of this, and we'll say like alien tech were to come to us, you know, and the hypothetical that they're extremely advanced in comparison to us. We'll now take something like a cell phone, right? And we'll take this cell phone and we'll give it to a very, very rudimentary monkey. To this monkey, you've handed them a rock.
Right.
So, in that monkey's perception, if the monkey is not interested and curious about this new rock you've handed them, this is no different than another hard, solid object. This technology that we've handed them is nothing to them if they're not curious enough to figure these things out. So if we had alien tech that was so sophisticated to us and we weren't curious to figure out every facet of every single thing that we have, we might not know that this rock is anything more than a rock to us. Technology is either so sophisticated that it's so visually advanced to us, or it's so sophisticated that we only see it as a rock, because that's what it's disguised to look like. You know, how many pieces of technology do we have in modern society that are disguised to look like something else, but secretly they do all these fucking crazy things? You know what I mean? Like, a cell phone doesn't have to look like this. It looks the way it does because it's meant to mimic a TV, you know? It's meant to mimic a computer, you know? They could have a cell phone literally just be the watch. Like, they basically do already. Like, that is, you know.
Right.
But that being said, like, maybe we do have alien tech that we don't even fucking know about, and we're sitting on that shit. Like the goddamn Sphinx. You ever hear the tales that the Sphinx might be a spaceship?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that shit's so archaic, we just think it's a rock.
Well, it's funny because if you look at it, the governments shut it down. Yeah, you can go, but you can't really explore it. You can't do anything with it because it's a restricted area.
I mean, to be fair, based off of the time and decay and everything, it definitely may not be safe for people to explore the inside of a lot of these things. I mean, I definitely think there could be double motives. It's possible.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, to someone from 1,000 years ago, science would look like magic. Oh, not even 1,000 years. Go back 200 years ago.
You 100 years ago, you give somebody a cell phone, they'll have no idea what the fuck it is. They won't be able to wrap their brain around it.
Go back 40 years ago, 40, 50 years ago, they didn't have cell phones. They didn't have a laptop.
They didn't have computers really like this, yeah.
No, and I just seen that, babe, who is that TV made by that I talked to you about last night?
The what?
The TV. Remember I told you, was it Samsung? No, it wasn't Samsung. I told you about that wall TV. That was 2,222 pounds.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Someone made a wall TV, and this thing has
that is Samsung. Yeah, the wall. It's literally called the wall.
Well, no, it's not even released yet. This is like bigger than the other ones.
Hold up, let me look. But keep
It's like 22 feet long, 13 feet tall, weighs 2,222 pounds, and like it's got 8K capabilities. And this TV is going to sell for up to $1.5 million.
Yeah, bro, this is exactly what I'm talking about. The wall, yeah. Nano LED. It's not out yet, but yeah, this is something they've been talking about for years.
That's insane to me. It's like,
It's pretty
no.
nuts. And it's gonna be like modular, so you can change like the shape and everything of it. Crazy shit, man. Technology.
Exactly like ants. They don't really perceive us as we don't understand, or we understand perception, but we don't. But we can still add honey to their environment.
So I understand what he's saying. He's saying we can interact with their environment, but they don't know what we're doing. And that kind of like ties into like the whole ghost perception potential,
Mm-hmm.
is that like they might be able to interact with our uh you know environment, and all we can perceive it is fucking weird shit happening, you know.
I was wondering if Melrose was still here.
Hell yeah, it
Is
is,
this
Mel.
a safe space? Hell
My
yes.
safe space, my safe space.
Okay. What do you think of Elon Musk? Is this man human, or is this man like part alien? That like this man's fucking brilliant. If you ever sit down and listen to him, it sounds like he can't talk. It sounds like he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about because he
He's just got
stumbles
so
with his
much
words.
going on in his brain. That's
But this man's a fucking genius.
yeah, absolutely. No, that's
And he
that's
does shit so stupid. Like, look at the Tesla models. The S, the E, the X, the Y. This man literally trademarked sexy for cars.
yeah.
Just because he thought it was a joke. He thought it would be funny. It's like,
Well, and that really goes to project a persona. It's he's a very smart businessman because he knows he's a smart man, and when he realizes that he can become a smart influential man by tapping into what people view as likable, you know, like that's what he's doing. He may be nothing like that in person, and I'm sure he is. Let's be real, I'm sure he is. But he's
right.
definitely crafted a very unique persona to be likable at all times by basically everyone. I've never met a person that's like, Elon Musk, fuck Elon Musk. Never met one. Never one.
Right.
And like that being said, there's a reason behind that, you know. He's genetically enhanced. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jay, that's facts.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, every success story started off as a dream, too. Like, it goes all to it. It's like, how much are you willing to put into it? Like, if
Exactly.
I honestly wanted to explore the fourth dimension, I have that capability. I can go
Ample
through the
opportunity.
intense. I can go through the intense meditation, or I can take a 7.5 hour drive, go down and be like, Nathan, show me the galaxy. And then boom.
We show you the way.
I have landed. Hello, Earthlings. What's up, Be Mad?
Take me to your leader. Well, Fred, there's a really funny story I love about Einstein, and it's a. And I'm going to use the word retarded here, just to tell the story, because this is how the story was told to me. I don't give a fuck. It's a word. It's just a word, y'all. But so there's this guy getting his hair cut, and the barber says to him like, "Oh, hey, you want to see something funny?" And the guy's like, "Sure, what's up?" And he points out the window, and says, "You see that kid out there on the street? Like, that's the local retard. Like that's retarded Albert right there. He never says anything. He's just kind of dumb. He just waddles around. Watch this. He goes out and brings him in, and he holds out $1 and a quarter, and he says, "Which one do you want, Al?" And Albert goes, "Oh, shiny." Takes the quarter and walks out. And he says, "You see, every time he takes the quarter, you know, instead of the $1, even though it's worth more." The man finishes up his haircut, and he sees Albert walking down the street after he's done. And he says, kid, why do you take the quarter? You know the dollar's worth more, don't you? And he goes, yeah, but that stupid barber keeps giving me a quarter every single time he comes and brings me in from the street. If I take the dollar, the game is over.
Yep.
And it's like, I love that story. That, you know, like,
Yep. It's common sense. Like, and that just shows how shitty we are as humans. Like, we
yeah,
love to have the upper hand. Oh, I'm
exactly.
smarter than you, or I'm more talented than you. Like, who the fuck cares? That kid was a genius because how many quarters did he get instead of the $1? Like Manson
Right.
said, the day he takes that dollar, the game's over.
Exactly.
And like I've heard it several times. You know, there's an old man selling watermelons, $3 a piece, or 3 for $10. And then the guy walks up and he buys one watermelon at a time till he gets to 3. And then someone comes over and he's like, or the guy that just bought the watermelons is like, you do realize that I can buy 3 single watermelons for $9 and you're selling 3 watermelons for $10. He's like, yes, but every person that comes up buys 3 watermelons.
Exactly. That's facts.
Work smarter, not harder, people.
Mm-hmm. Damn, I should start doing that with my stuff. But yeah, no, and that's so back to aliens, because I feel like we're definitely getting a little sidetracked here.
We always do.
What's really interesting too is there's been several accounts of people who take psychedelics, like, you know, LSD or heavy doses of shrooms or DMT, and they talk. A lot of them all talk about this interesting phenomenon of being like shown space instructions, like instructions on how to build spacecrafts or interdimensional like craft of some kind, which is just really interesting to me. Like if you look into this, there's lots of accounts of it. Terrence McKenna talks about it too. Um, who's a huge proponent of the psychedelic movement. He came up with the stoned ape theory, which some of you may know. But that being said, imagine that these things are trying to communicate this technology to us, like teach us how to get to this plane of existence. Like, wouldn't that be something? Um, and yeah,
Definitely.
possible.
Gonna do a 2-for-1 torture then? Yeah. We'll do a 2-for-1 torture. Spins are $25 a piece now.
Hot damn. Fucking, what's it called? So, have you heard of so okay, here's my question now. What alien do you think is the most likely? Like what form that we've discussed? Do you think it's like something from an outer planet? Do you think it's, you know, a time traveling being,
well,
dimensional?
technically, if you're in an outer planet, it's still a time traveling being because they have to travel light years to get here. I'm sorry. I don't think. Hang on. I'm going to share my screen again. I don't fucking think that someone just randomly came up with this picture as an alien.
So we believe in the gray alien type. Like we think that's a possibility.
I'm not sure if I'm sure it's a possibility, but at the same time, does it look like something else in their homelands? Like, is it something that's traveling through dimensions and has to take a 3-dimensional form
Yeah.
when it gets here? I mean, for all I know, it could look like the fucking aliens that are on The Simpsons. You remember those?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we don't
So
know what it looks like, but there's so many out there. Like, all the movies use the green alien. All, like, the people that claim to have been abducted by aliens claim this figure.
So on that note, that makes me really happy that you brought that up. Have you ever heard of David Huggins?
I have not.
Google him real quick. So this is a man that claims to have had encounters his whole life with these aliens that started visiting him from the age of 6, and like One of them took his virginity allegedly, like, they were taking his DNA, they said, I mean, like, if you look into some of his paintings, he paints his experiences, and this is a dude that's, like, not famous, like, he keeps to himself. A lot of this shit is, like, he just does it for himself, and he paints all of these experiences. He's only recently come out in, like, public about some of these things, but, like, it's just so interesting, the detail that he describes some of these experiences in, and like his paintings are so vivid. And I mean, you look at them and they look exactly like that gray alien that,
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's weird. And he says that they still visit him on occasion. Like, I don't know, it's
Except for that one. That one's a naked man with a grasshopper.
well,
Or
no, that's one
cricket.
of his paintings as well. He said some of the alien, like doctors or something, had these weird mantis-like forms, which is
Interesting.
interesting because a mantis-like shape is something that's seen often in intense DMT trips. So
Hmm.
who knows?
Could be us from the future, header. Okay, important question. Okay, it's not, but so many people say it. Do aliens have relations with human? I mean that in the Bill Clinton sense. I mean,
This guy, literally, this guy
it
claims
would
to have had his virginity taken by one of the aliens, which is what you're seeing literally in this picture right here, the one that's pulled up. You see her sitting on top of him, naked in like the woods or some shit. That is that, literally. Like, look into this guy. If you guys have time, his name is David Huggins. His story is incredibly weird, but like, I don't know. I don't think he'd make so much of this up, like,
right. It's hard. Like,
because he's not
it,
gaining anything out of it.
no. I mean, everybody looks at him like we have the upper hand. Oh, you're stupid. You're making shit up. Blah blah blah. Why are we so close minded? Why do
Right.
we instantly put that blocker up? All it's doing is blocking us from a higher learning experience, a higher power.
Exactly. Chris, yeah, unfortunately, he will not be able to use that in his dowry anymore.
Uh, there's the tall grays and the short ones. One version lives in the South Pole. The grays are at war, apparently. I
Well,
feel we
Mr.
are extremely arrogant to think that the only humanoid forms. I
Yeah,
believe they are adapted to whatever their environmental issues are.
yeah,
Yeah, and like I said, like I don't know, it's baffling to me, and it, like I said before, like if they're coming from a other dimension, a higher dimension, they would have to take a form in the third
we can
dimension.
understand. Yeah,
And the gray alien or the green alien makes sense because it's human like. It has a head, it has arms, it has legs, it has the body. It would make sense that it would come down to a third dimensional object
right.
and look like that. Who is the sci-fi author that claims to have had actual contact with aliens? Whitley Strieber?
Uh,
Straber?
Definitely sounds like one of them. I know the L. Ron Hubbard dude. I'm pretty sure the Scientology guy. He was also a science fiction author that claimed to have had contact, but I don't know. It's interesting because when you look at like what Scientology actually evolves around, it's it's almost just as believable as Christianity. Like, I mean, it's almost more logical that aliens came down than, the literal creator of the universe. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're so special that the creator of the universe himself saved or killed his son for our eternal salvation. That sounds a little narrow-minded, a little egotistical.
He was not okay. I don't believe in aliens and UFOs. All people who claims that have seen the alien has a problem in the head. No disrespect, just saying.
So, okay, let's pull up some footage then. I'll have two clips to show. I have two clips to show you here. One is first, well, I'll have you pull up one. So if you can pull up the Tic Tac UFO. This is something that defies our literal laws of physics, and it was captured from a military aircraft, a fighter jet that was following it. I'm pretty sure either that or like a military.
Are you looking for the image or are you looking for the video?
the video? There's a video,
Okay.
and it defies
USS
our laws of
Nimitz.
physics. Like there's no logical way this item moves the way it does, but yet it does, and it is. And it plain and simply would have to come from some other dimension that would change our laws or laws of physics, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, so this is the Tic Tac UFO video. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Half Mach 1.
So it had no heat signatures coming from it. Is that what I got from that? Where it says hot display designators is in white. Hot.
No, that means it's
okay. It is hot. Okay. Black minute that it was called. Okay. My bad. Why'd you stop?
But essentially, echo. Yeah.
Hang on, let me take down the screen. Is that
So
better?
essentially, yeah. What was happening there? This thing was hovering along like the ocean or some shit. I can't remember the exact specifics. And then like it takes off in a way that defies our physics, and it had zero air resistance as well, based on the way it was moving. And for that to have happened, I mean, it literally would have had to again not abide by our laws of physics. And then so I'm going to send this other one in the private chat. But this was captured super recently by a time lapse videographer and some VFX artists, which I can say like through After Effects. Like I've worked doing VFX using the same program these guys do. These VFX artists sit down and try to debunk this footage, and they can't. Like, and what you see is kind of fucking nuts. And Be Mad, thank you. Appreciate you, homie, for the $5 holla. My boy. Love you. She didn't have to do that.
Appreciate you guys. Let's get Nappy out to Vegas so he
Don't
can
worry
get
about it.
motivated.
I'll get there eventually. Don't trip on that. Oh,
Listen.
I remember the other. I'm gonna write it down though. So go ahead and
No, go ahead.
and speak. No, I'm gonna write this down. It's okay. This is
No,
for
I don't have the video up. Speak your mind.
All right. So, in association with aliens, is this other thing that I'm a firm believer in called angel numbers, and these angels per se are non-denominational. Um, so they're not like what you picture as like biblical angels or whatever the fuck. But like I get them in all the weirdest fucking places. Oh, had us going to the bathroom. But so basically these have they seen that video of the last NASA trip to the moon? The camera. They told us not to come back. Yo, that's fucking weird. I gotta look into that. Holy shit, that's weird. That gives me the heebie-jeebies. Oof. But so basically, angel numbers, right? That shit's fucking weird because the Earth, the universe, everything that exists in our observable universe anyway is all math. It's ones and zeros basically when you break it down to the root. And so I got this really weird angel number recently, like really fucking weird. Like me and my buddy had both been recommended the same 2-year-old Joe Rogan video about DMT entities. And I sent it to him. He was like, yo, I was just going to send this to you. And the likes on it were 43,000. And then the dislikes were 11 or 1.1K. So like 4311 was like the number. I looked into that shit and I'm going to read y'all the angel number on 4311 because that shit was weird. So yesterday I put a video out on motivation. And this is what angel number 4311 says. When you notice angel number 4311 appearing in your life frequently, it's a sign that the divine realm is trying to send you a message. You should know that all the things you've been waiting to fall into place will fail. This is because you've been longing and sleeping instead of working hard on your goals, which is something I've been recently like pushing, but I've been kind of like falling off a little bit recently due to lack of motivation because of certain circumstances. But anyway, it would help if you understood that hoping and sleeping do not yield any reward. The meaning 4311 foretells that you have been approaching your goals in the wrong manner. Your guardians are advising you to put to start putting in intentional effort to make your dreams come true. Remember that inaction is not the same as patience and focus. You should find the inner motivation to seek assistance if you feel stranded. Your guardian angels are on your side and reminding you that only hard work gets rewarded. Then it goes to say that it means the angels are always looking out for you. Take heed of messages that they're relaying to you, which is crazy because I see all these numbers all the fucking time, like consistently. I'll see the same number over and over again. And I always look that shit up and it's always fucking weirdly relevant to what's going on for me. But basically, this next paragraph talks about taking initiative, what would happen if you managed and adjusted fairly to making big moves in your life. And then it also says this angel number is a sign that your guardian angels are reaffirming your creativity. You will experience a lot of creative ideas coming to mind. I'm an innately creative person. Like some people are not, but like not even like to weird flex here, but like that's just my personality type is creative. Like I can't do that desk job shit. You know what I'm saying? It says you shall realize much success and breakthrough, a bright future. It's like some fortune cookie shit. But then we get to the love part, which is weird because without getting into too much detail, I've had a slight turbulence with my love, which is funny because that's the word it uses here. I probably subconsciously remembered that was the word, but I've had a slight bit of a rocky road here with my fiance. We're all good. Like everything's all good. We just had like a little spittle. But it says the number 4311 warns you of a turbulent season in your love and relationship life. It would help if you made your partner a priority. Always communicate clearly about your struggles so that they get to understand you. Do not fear to ask for their support as you move to a more active and immersive season. That will save a lot of disagreement. It's a number that message. It's a message that you should strive for balance in your relationship life to manage your time more efficiently. Don't neglect your spouse. And this is kind of like what I was talking about to her. It was like, I feel like you don't have any time to like spend with me. Like, I feel like you're kind of neglecting me. And I feel like that's a little like weird to say. Anyways, but like, it was just so weirdly accurate to that moment. Like, I don't know, man. these numbers that are around us, they signify things. Like if you see a number a lot repeating and like you look at the number and you just see like even if it's a longer number, but you see a specific chunk that kind of stands out to you, and that's a number you've seen repeating in places, take note of that number. They're weird. Like I tell you, you look that shit up and you're gonna feel a little weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never heard of angel
man.
numbers before.
You got a favorite number? Everybody got a favorite number.
Not really.
Man, I don't believe that.
Like, I have numbers of importance to me.
And that could be a favorite number. What's the most important one to you?
62.
All right, let's see here. You see this number a lot?
No, it was the year my dad was born. But I do see 6s and 2s quite often. Like I just happened to look down at the clock and 7:22. So there's the 2s part of it, but ooh, that's weird.
What's that?
I just looked over at the side and I noticed that it's military time. And my first daughter's birthday is April 22nd. So if you take that and convert it into military time, the 4th month, which would be 16,
23 or 22. And it's funny because that's so fucking weird. Yeah. 16, 22.
So maybe
let's find out.
Maybe 62 has a deeper meaning for me than I realize.
And it could. That's the thing, man.
No Name just said it's 622 for me.
This is kind of weird. I'm gonna send this one to you. You can look at this on your own time, but like, okay, go ahead and pull up that fucking that one video I dropped in this private chat as well because I'm gonna go ahead and take a leak. But this is fucking insane.
Okay, so I got that pulled up. So this is the video that Namson sent us earlier. The visual effects artist got stumped on it. This is a little bit of a longer video, but we'll see what it's about.
Footage.
Whoa, what? We have deduced it is not a visual effect. It's not some sort of in-camera trick. This is something that was actually captured by a camera, and we don't know what it is.
Let's become real. Let's freaking Sherlock Holmes this.
Oh wait, Sam just found something.
Oh. I received a video that is unexplainable.
I've heard that, Fred.
In this room because it's very, very important that they all see this. We may have real UFO footage.
This is a big deal. This is a huge deal for this debunking show.
I did not see this.
No, this is the new me.
It's important that everybody sees this because I'm going to need all the brains I can find to figure out this video.
A lot of shooting stars.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of shooting stars.
So those are just airplanes.
Okay. Airplanes and satellites.
Fair, fair.
I'm guessing none of you guys saw the UFO. I sent an email 2 months ago from a man named Jordan he has a website, lostsasquatch.com. He makes custom knives, things like that. He's an outdoorsman. And this guy says, hey, I have something I cannot explain. I've shown it to everybody and they can't explain it. Can you take a look? Maybe you guys can debunk it on your show. He took a time lapse while he was camping. So this is about a 5-hour time lapse. I have the exact GPS coordinates, the date, and the time. And there's something in this time lapse footage which I'm not able to explain. You see it?
Yeah.
No, what? Oh.
There it is.
Whoa, what? It's like a little orb of dark matter.
So the first time I watched this, there was a lot of compression. And who knows what compression is doing to an image? So I reached out to Jordan to get the actual raw files from the camera. He actually took all of his raw .cr2 files, meaning it's raw sensor data that's coming off as like ones and zeros and hasn't been turned into an image yet. And he put them up online, all like 8 gigs of them, and he sent them to me. So what we're watching right now is an image sequence from the actual raw file
I'll check
from
with
Jordan's camera.
This is the sort of UFO
I'll check with Nampson as soon as he comes back, Mel.
sighting that is incredibly easy to do with visual effects. You can literally just pick any random star, crop it out, and animate it. It's like this is a very, very doable VFX shot to fake. The key difference, this is verifiably the raw data coming off of a memory card rather than something that is manipulated on a computer and made to look like it's raw data.
Exactly. All the other videos we've watched have been on YouTube, they've been, compressed MP4s, but this is a situation where because we have the raw files, we know that they have not been manipulated. We're looking at truly the raw files.
This is a real UFO.
Yeah.
Unidentified flying object.
Yep.
Because we have deduced it is not a visual effect, it's not some sort of in-camera trick. This is something that was actually captured by a camera, and we don't know what it is.
It's a real.
Nampson, Mel was wondering if it was okay if she hopped up so she could do that reading for you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. I wasn't letting anybody hop in because it's not something that we've discussed before, but I'll definitely send her the link. Mel, I'll send it to your Twitter account.
Real UFO. It's a real alien. It's a real alien.
Question. You said this guy's name was Sasquatch something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Does this kind of undermine the credibility if someone's like a Sasquatch hunter?
You
and then
know,
they find UFO?
no, it's lostsasquatch.com.
Okay.
He makes custom Damascus.
Stop
maps.
it.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
It's a good question. It's a fair question.
It's not SasquatchHunters.com. So the interesting thing about this footage is that it's a time lapse. It rules out a lot of things that normal footage would have. Because time lapse, you now have something that's going to be in the sky here for 5 hours, meaning it can't be a helicopter.
Why can it not be a helicopter?
Helicopters, I don't believe, have the fuel to stay in the air for 5 hours straight.
Wouldn't you also see a helicopter and hear a helicopter? And wouldn't it also have to be super high up to be that small, though, in the frame?
Yeah, it'd have to be really high up. You'd have blinking lights. I mean, once again, it's a time lapse, but you probably, at least in one of the frames, see a red or green.
And we can rule out that it's a drone because it's way too small.
It's in the air for 5 straight hours. There are not any drones that have a 5-hour flight time for the batteries. Dude, what if it's literally just like a little ant inside the camera on the sensor?
But it goes behind the clouds!
It does.
It goes behind the clouds!
This would be so much easier to write off if it didn't go behind the clouds. That is so weird.
Wait, so it's not a satellite, though.
So what do we know about satellites?
They move in an elliptical.
They're just going at 17,500 miles an hour.
In whatever direction they want.
It can be this way, it can be that way, it can be this way.
But it's all consistent.
But it's consistent.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Maybe it's just a satellite on its commute to its position, They got to get there somehow.
No, that's not what a rocket launcher looks like at all.
Any spacecraft coming from Earth, they would not move like that. You might get to a spot and then change orbit, but you're basically going to be in a circle or an elliptical orbit around, the planet. And if you change your path, it's just going to change that curve a little bit and throw out part of the loop of that elliptical in different ways. There's no.
So that's pretty much the main part.
It literally looks like someone dragging a cursor. Like.
Okay.
So is wow, wait. I think it's super interesting how erratic the motion was. And again, the fact that it goes behind the clouds and it came in raw data, literally unedited code that had to be then translated from the raw form into footage, and they were able to check on that, and there was no editing done to that. You can always tell when the metadata is edited, period, always. So for the fact that had to be up there flying around that way for 5 hours,
Right. Yeah, that definitely it definitely had a weird flight pattern because like, yeah, even with satellites though, a satellite's not going to stay in frame
Right.
traveling at 17.5 thousand miles per hour.
And not in that pattern either.
No, like I've seen satellites. You can see them. They go across the sky and you literally see them for 35, 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then they're gone. They're not going to stay up there for 5 hours.
So, in addition to that, have you heard of the petroglyphs from Val Camonica?
I have not.
Okay,
What's up,
so
Mrs. Trauma?
I'm gonna give you something here to Google, and this is really interesting because these are essentially cave drawings that very clearly depict a spaceman, if you will, somebody in an astronaut suit. Um, and these cave paintings are from like the year 4500, like BC, sorry, 4500 BC, or some ridiculous like 5,000 years BC,
Oh, okay.
and like
Yeah, that
why?
definitely seems to be a. Hang on, let me share the screen really quick, and then Mel just popped in.
Word. Yeah, like that is not just like a helmet. That is a very clear bubble around these people's head.
Yeah, and the body or the heads are way too small and proportionate compared to the
Yeah.
body, so it's definitely some kind of a suit.
And the heads are too amorphic, if you will, because you noticed one of them has a completely different head shape than the other. And they both seem to be holding this little three-pronged trident of some kind.
Right.
What's up, Mel?
We have no volume from you. Oh, hang on. It says you have a poor network connection on my end.
Yeah, Fred, I've seen that where the Air Force tried to recreate that. They're still trying, actually. They're still working on the Air Force isn't anymore, but private companies are funding that sort of thing. Have you seen the Nazca lines?
How do you spell it?
Nazca. There's a literal giant fucking runway that was made by these ancient Nazcaeans that are again like several thousand years BC. Nazcaeans, I don't know. Nazcanians, maybe fucking. And like, first of all, I don't. Is that the runway? Yeah, that might be the runway. But you look at this runway of sorts, and it's literally this giant fucking strip along the middle of the fucking desert. And they have all these fucking. Yeah, you'll see it better there. Yeah, look at that shit.
Ooh.
It's on the. Yeah, it's fucking weird, bro. Like, what could that possibly be for, if not some form of like aerial strip? And then if you look at the what do they call them? If you look up Nazca glyphs, like Glyphs, yeah, it's some type of glyph, but I can't remember. I think it's like neoglyph or something like that. Yeah, so they had all these giant, and these things are massive. Like, why would they make them? There would be literally no point because they wouldn't be able to even view them.
Right.
So who were they making them for? You know?
Interesting. Yeah, like crop circles are always one thing that have been like an interest to me. It's like people go out and try to debunk them. It's like, why would someone spend all that time to try to do something? I mean, yeah, there's people out there that are desperate for attention. Don't get me wrong. But I would like to at least hope that most of society could give a fuck less about the attention.
Facts.
Like that would take hundreds of hours to do something like that, if not longer.
Well, to be fair, some people got nothing but time, but like, no, I understand exactly where you're coming from with that. Like, I don't know. And it would be ludicrous, like we said at the beginning, to believe that we're the only intelligent life forms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And what Fred said, there are similar looking things from all over the world, like the Aborigines and Incas. There's even one of my particular favorite ones, ancient Sumeria, so like the Sumerians from the Bible and shit. Like they were, I believe, the first like official civilization in ancient Mesopotamia. And this civilization has like insanely advanced mathematics, forms of recording history and shit like that. They had astronomically correct alignment of the stars thousands of years before we even had telescopes. Like, how could they possibly have had that knowledge without them knowing something more? You know what I mean? Like, if you look up the Sumerian cave drawings or whatever the fuck, you'll see like the alignment of the stars and shit. It's really crazy. I don't know, man.
Is that better or is it worse?
I can hear you now.
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
What the fuck?
This is pretty interesting. I like it, Hatter. Hey, appreciate you, Mrs. Trauma. Yeah, Namson and I, like, next week's topic's going to be boring because I picked next week's topic, but, like, we definitely try to pick a topic that's going to be very thought-provoking and lead to a conversation and not just, oh, do they exist or don't they? Okay, well, now we got 2 hours to talk about whatever.
Facts, Gary.
Yeah, I'm looking at their glyphs right now.
And that's also facts, Fred. Yo, what's good, Domier?
What's up, Domier? How you doing, brother?
Pretty sure it's starting a business, right? Next week's topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's boring. I'm sorry.
No. That could be interesting. There's a lot of interesting facets towards starting a business.
Still can't see you. I can.
What the hell is going on, man?
I have no idea. We can hear you perfectly. We just can't see you, though.
Are there things I'm supposed to be doing I'm not doing? No.
I don't know. Usually I don't have any problems joining from... You're joining from your phone, right?
No, I'm on my iPad.
Oh. Startup Saturday?
I can try with my phone. I don't understand what the issue is.
I have no idea. I've never tried
it's because I'm gonna leave. Hold on a second. Let me hit the set. Problem is, oh wait a minute. This might have something to do with it. Video input.
Stonehenge does predate the Celts, Romans, you name it. Those were the original inhabitants of Britain. Still like the mythical creatures idea? Yeah, that's going to be the following week after next week. That's going to be the urban legends, or what is the word that we came up with? Damn it. What the fuck is the word? I can't think of it. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Conspiracy theories.
Yep, that's what it was.
Mythical creature. That sounds super fun and interesting too. Yeah, we're hoping so.
And like, allow bastards.
Well, you have an icon now.
Oh, I shut it off. Hold on.
Cryptozoology.
Nope, did it again.
Yeah. Well, have y'all heard of the Alaskan Triangle?
Could you get? I'm like at a full, like everything's supposed to be working perfectly fine. I don't understand what the problem is. Settings.
Yeah, Fred, I get it. Words header words. Get Alex Jones on header. I have no idea who that is.
You're better off that way.
Okay.
Dude is fucking wild. I just can't deal with his energy, man. Way too in your face, aggressive, like fucking. Oh.
I don't know. So kind of like a Ben Shapiro type.
Ms. Traumatos, she gets it. The Alaskan Triangle has claimed more lives than the Bermuda Triangle. It's a very interesting realm. Lots of weird shit happens there. There's thought to be like a fucking army of plesiosaurs somewhere in the fucking, like if you look up Alaska lake monster, hold up, I can't remember the name of the lake.
Send me a brand.
But we'll get into this.
Yeah, I'll send you a new link.
We'll definitely get into this in that episode. But here,
No,
Hatter, I'm going to send a very short.
You guys.
What
such a
fuck,
wicked.
man? It looks like it could be a gator.
Yeah, she was echoing pretty good on my end there at the end.
Here, this is a video that was captured in a lake in Alaska by like a site surveyor, and I can definitely say that, like, as again somebody who's done visual effects editing, it's just not. I mean, it's definitely possible to do, but it not. I doubt it. I can't wrap my head around it.
I solved the Loch Ness Monster, by the way.
Oh yeah, there, bud.
Where'd you send it?
Through the private chat. No point. There's a huge difference. I think they can be synonymous, but they definitely stem from different things. Being religious is believing in a deity, whereas being spiritual is believing in the deity within yourself. Kind of more so. Like your spirit has its own higher form of consciousness and creation.
I gotcha. Okay, so share the screen, share the audio. It's probably going to distort us for a little bit.
This is just fucking insane. You gotta go full screen on this. Things like 25 feet long. Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, that's definitely moving on its own power.
And just the way the ripples move, man. Like everything about this video would be incredibly difficult to fake. It's not a fucking rope.
There are so many people that disappear or go missing around here. Yeah, that's scary, Mrs. Trauma.
Oh man, look at that shit. It looks like a giant gator.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't be possible with ice.
Right. Interesting.
Fucking hate it. Last weird, bro.
We can hear you, but we still can't see you, hon.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm gonna have to switch my phone. For some reason, it's not allowing the video to work. I'm not sure why.
Anyone want to go in on an Audible subscription with me? I'm down to start learning shit, you know?
It's not worth it.
What's that?
Because like some of the books on there are like really short and shit, and they charge you the same. You get like 1 credit per month, and it's $15 for that 1 credit.
Wait, so you can only read 1 book a month?
Like they give you some free stuff on there too, but like if you wanted a book to keep in your library, you get 1 credit to download a book, and then you only get that 1 credit for the month.
Let's see.
I mean, you can buy more credits, but obviously it gets more expensive and shit.
Well, 2 credits if you're an Amazon Prime member. Hold on.
We just watched videos about that last night. And I don't know. There's too many things in this world that are unexplained for there not to be paranormal activity, for that or there not to be extraterrestrial activity.
Can you hear me?
Hey, we got sound and audio.
Hey, let's go.
All right. I'm trying to see. Can I, on this, can I flip the picture?
Maybe.
maybe
Yo,
turn
Domier,
your
literally
phone
same, bro.
sideways.
Huh?
Maybe if you flip your phone sideways.
Well, I wanted to like do a flip of the picture. So you're not looking at
Oh.
me. You're looking at what I'm looking at. That's why I had my iPad out. Also, I don't know where the hell my friggin' headphones are for my phone.
Hang on. I'm going to join this stream on my phone. That way I can walk you through it.
The hell
Yo,
are
but
my phones.
there is a
The headphones
Spotify
for
for
my
books
phone. That's
kind
what
of
I'm looking
thing.
for. So I can hear you guys better. They're probably in the office. Let me go grab them.
Hey, yo, here we go.
Sorry, this was supposed to be like quick and painless. Oh, there they are. Cool. Okay. Or relatively quick and painless.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Can you guys
there's
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. For some reason.
Yo Hatter, when's the next reaction to your guys' music? That was fun. Friday should be the next music reaction. Hang on, there's an echo.
Oh my god, an echo.
Echo. For some reason, you guys aren't coming through on my headphones. There we go. That's better.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, on your phone on the bottom where you're going to see the mute mic button, the camera button, and the 3 dots.
The mute. The mute. I see the camera, and I see my microphone button.
Is there
Oh, and
another
there's 3
button?
dots.
3 dots?
There's 3 dots, right?
Okay, so you're going to click that, and then you're going to go to settings,
Okay.
and then you're going to go to your video settings, and then under that, it'll show you your camera.
Oh, and I can go to back camera.
Yeah.
There we
You
go.
go to video input and go to your back camera.
Yeah, look. Turn fucking volume down. Okay. So hit.
Uh-oh. She must have left. All right, she's coming back.
Sorry, I fucked that all up. I hit
You're
done
good.
when I wasn't done. Okay, so let me turn this on side so you guys can actually. It's weird because I wanted you guys to see this whole. It's weird on a phone. How do I do this now? So,
Don't be here. This
what
man,
Domir, sir?
he said, "Oh hell no, I'm out."
Dude, like this is purely white magic, like totally not at all.
That's
Fucking.
extra fucking weird that you use that specific term because my fiance said that her family practiced that at some point. White
I've
magic.
been a practicing Wiccan for over 30 years. And like we had this conversation before. Like
Yeah.
I practice the old religion. I don't practice neo Wiccan.
I
If,
didn't
like,
realize like that's a term that like people like say though is white magic. That's literally the only time I've heard that used before. Like, so that's I don't know. That's extra weird because Sydney's got some really crazy stories about some of that shit. Let me tell you.
well, probably okay. So I want to make this so that like you guys are full screen. Like I'm like on my. I've never done this on my phone. How do I make you
Do you
guys
have
full
your
screen?
rotation lock off?
Oops. Nope. That.
Nah, Domier, that I don't. It's not a satanic symbol. Like, that's one of those symbols that's been distorted over time to be satanic, but that's not a satanic symbol.
Goddamn echo. Stop it. I was just trying to get out of the stream. There we go. It's all about perception.
Yeah. It's literally, it is a sign of life and connections. That is, if you look up what a pentagram is on
Hitting all these
Wikipedia,
weird buttons and it's making all kinds of weird shit happen. I'm trying to get so like I have the three of us on the main screen. How do I do that?
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
yeah,
I'm relatively new to Restream.
Okay, so hold on. That messages from audience will display here. Yeah, okay, hold on. What's this? This is what I'm looking at. Okay, so whatever. All right, so this isn't giving you a full. If I turn it sideways, it's upside down. You guys are looking at it upside down, so hold on. Maybe if I turn it sideways this way, do you get it right side up?
Do you have the
Still
do you have your
down.
phone's rotation lock on, like to where it doesn't rotate when you turn your phone sideways?
I don't think so. How would I know that?
Pull up from the top right corner of your. What kind of phone do you have?
I have an iPhone.
Is it like a 10 or newer?
Yeah.
Okay, so pull up from the top right corner of your phone. If you pull down, it'll have this little drop down menu, and you should see this little thing with the lock next to it. Turn that
Okay.
off so it's like that.
A
like
little
that.
thing with a lock on it. I'm looking for it. Little thing. Okay. I see it.
Yeah, make sure it's not selected. Like that.
Feel it. We only got one. Ready? One. I'm gonna wash the dishes to make 10 more. Holy crap, you already got that many? This is 9. You got 9 already. Okay. Oh, that's so cool. Well, I'm gonna go lay down if I fall asleep.